Here I am. I'm Lisa. I'm a designer at Insomniac. Someone once asked me what my method was for level design, which was a little peculiar to me. They weren't talking about what makes good level design. They were wanting to know what my particular process was for designing levels, which is strange to me because I actually find level design incredibly challenging, and it was weird that someone wanted to know about my method. Also, I think my method makes me come off as kind of a crazy person. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe everyone designs levels this way and it's completely normal and I have nothing to worry about. So I usually start like you would think a normal person would start designing levels. I come up with an idea, I gather my reference images, I build my little 2D overhead map, and then I jump into the editor and I block everything out just so, fire up the game to try it out, try moving around the space to see what it feels like, and the result is that it is terrible. Terrible. And it's the worst, you guys. It's not fun. It doesn't feel coherent, like a coherent space at all. In fact, it doesn't even feel like a space. It feels like a bunch of random geometry just haphazardly thrown together, and it's just like, it's so bad. And why is level design so hard? I know how to do this stuff, and I know that I've studied it. I am surrounded at Insomniac by people who are very good level designers, and I absorb knowledge from them at every turn. So if I have all these tools that makes it so I could design a level, why is it so hard to actually like apply it? So I try it again. Scrap everything, try it again. Same results. Scrap everything, try it again, maybe a little bit differently. No, it's still terrible. This is the point at which I usually panic, and I tend to allot myself 5 minutes for panicking. No more than that. 5 minutes of panicking, rolling around on the floor in despair, and perhaps one like sad Charlie Brown walk around the complex, contemplating, you know, how I even got this job in the first place, and what is going to happen when my coworkers find out that I can't actually design levels. So then I get back to it, because you can't spend all your time on that. There's work to be done. That's why you only allot yourself 5 minutes. Back into the fray, and I resort to my secret method, which consistently has worked for me in the past. And that is that if I am able to get myself in a very particular sort of flow state, then after a while I find that the levels just start designing themselves, and I don't actually have to do any work. And it is quite fascinating, a little terrifying. One way I can sometimes do this, and I'm getting particularly frustrated with the level, is I will put all my ideas for the level aside and to just focus on building out metrics. Like, all right, I know all our legal jump heights in the game, so I'll just build blocks at those heights and shove them around, and the minimum combat width for the minimum distance for combat is this so I need to go through and like push everything out and make sure it's at least that. Or I know all of our grind angles that we think are good, so I'll just build a bunch of those and sort of mush them around, and like, you know, I get into this state, a nice little flow state, and that's when it happens all of a sudden, without my knowing it. It just sort of starts building itself, and it just comes out. I feel I'm not in control of my practices at all. It just sort of starts flowing out, and it's kind of amazing because it's kind of similar to my initial idea, but it's better, and I can see all the things, all the level design things like showing up. I'm like, oh look, there's the front line, and look, there's like a little flanking path next to it. That's so brilliant. Oh, that space. Oh, it's a transition space. I had no idea what to do with that blank space, but look how it's building up into this perfect little transition space. That's amazing. I wish I'd thought of that. It's so clever. But it's also a little horrifying, and sometimes I wonder if maybe my coworkers start to suspect that something's going on, that I'm not actually doing any work myself. It is just sort of all pouring out on its own. But so far, no one has suspected anything, and it works. It works very well. So there is only one logical explanation to what is happening here, and that is that there's a magical invisible level design dragon that lives in my head. And if I get into a flow state, I can summon her out, and she comes over to the computer and uses her level design breath weapon and just sprays it all over the map, and out it comes, and it works. It feels good. I play the level, and I'm like, this feels pretty good. It's kind of amazing. And I kind of feel like a badass. So 5 minutes I am allowed. 5 minutes to feel like a badass, no more. 5 minutes of bloating and one like victory lap around the complex, but no more, because there is work yet to be done, and we don't have time for a lot of that. So what I've discovered that when it comes time for me to design a level, I take all my toolkit of level design knowledge and set it aside for a moment and spend all my time on trying to summon the magical level design dragon out of the subconscious cave. And this can involve some unusual things. Sometimes it means just sleeping at weird times around the office, or sometimes it means listening to a very particular type of music, and occasionally that works. And every now and then it means like having a jar of Nutella for lunch, or maybe like just spending some time playing with that thing I found in the street that time that was kind of cool. And it's weird, right? Because subconscious is weird. You can't always predict what it's going to do. You have to do weird things to get it out there. And it might seem silly, right, to spend all this time doing these strange things. When I'm under a deadline and I have a level to build, why do I waste my time playing with strange things? But it is actually the most efficient route, because once you get the thing out there, then you don't have to do any work. You just sit down, the level just pours out of its face onto the screen, and you don't have to do anything. It's amazing. And at this point, I usually have my coworkers come and play test the level, and they try it out, and they seem to have a good time, and it's doing pretty well. They're doing the things I expect. And they say, Lisa, you're really good at level design. And I say, oh, thank you, this is really nice of you to say. But secretly I wonder what would happen if they found out. If they found out that I'm actually not a good level designer at all, and in fact that I did not do any of the work that was in the level that they just played, but rather that I rely on my ability to summon a mythical subconscious creature to my bidding to do all of my work for me. But honestly, I mean, she is very good at level design. They probably just should have hired her.